In 1932, the Australian government declared war. Not on a country, on birds. They sent trained soldiers with machine guns. And after about a month, the army gave up and went home. The birds stayed, the birds won. This is a real, documented military operation. It's in the Australian parliamentary record. It was covered by newspapers around the world. It's called the Great Emu War, and every part of it is worse than you think. First, this needs context, because it's not as stupid as it sounds. It starts after World War I. Thousands of Australian soldiers came home with nothing to do. So the government gave them farmland out in Western Australia. It sounded generous. It wasn't great land. It was dry, rough, and hard to farm. But they cleared it and planted wheat anyway. Then the Great Depression hit, and wheat prices collapsed. The government promised them subsidies to help. The money didn't arrive. So now you've got war veterans broke, on bad land, in a depression. And then the emus showed up. Because there was one thing nobody had accounted for. That farmland sat on an emu migration route. Emus migrate inland after breeding season, looking for water and food. And the farmers had helpfully built them a buffet. Cleared land, water supplies, fields full of wheat. So around 20,000 emus arrived. And if you've never seen an emu up close, they're not small birds. They stand over 5 feet tall. They weigh up to 100 pounds. And they can run about 30 miles an hour. And here's the part that made it worse. Emus trample far more wheat than they actually eat. Their feet were the real problem, not their appetite. They also broke fences, which let rabbits get in too. So the farmers asked the government for help. And the government, wanting to look supportive of veterans, sent the army. Now let's look at the actual military force they sent. 3 men. 1 major, 1 sergeant, 1 gunner, 2 Lewis machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Their target was 20,000 birds. That's 3 guys and about 7,000 emus each. And my favorite detail of the entire story, they brought a cameraman, a professional cinematographer, to film the operation, for a newsreel, to show in cinemas. They were that confident it would go well. The operation began on the 2nd of November, 1932. Farmers pointed them toward a flock of about 50 emus. The soldiers set up the machine guns and immediately hit their first problem. The emus were out of range. So the farmers tried to herd the birds toward the guns. And the emus, sensibly, split into small groups and ran off. Day 1, effectively nothing. 2 days later, they tried something smarter, an ambush. They set up near a dam where the birds came to drink. And it worked. About 1,000 emus walked straight toward them. They waited until the birds were close and opened fire. And after about a dozen birds, the machine gun jammed. The emus scattered. The rest of the flock got away. Best opportunity of the entire campaign. Wasted on a jam. And this is where it stops being funny and gets genuinely impressive. The emus changed their behavior. They stopped gathering in big flocks. They split into small groups, spread far apart, which makes them almost impossible to hit efficiently. And the soldiers noticed something else. Each group seemed to have 1 tall bird standing watch. While the others fed, that one watched for danger. And when it spotted them, it warned the rest, and they ran. So the soldiers escalated. They mounted a machine gun on the back of a truck. The plan was to chase the birds down and fire while moving. 2 problems with that. First, the ground was so rough that aiming was impossible. The gunner couldn't hold the weapon steady at all. And second, the emus were faster than the truck, so they were being outrun by birds in a vehicle. By now, the newspapers had found out. And they had an absolute field day with it. The story spread internationally, After 6 days, roughly 50 emus had been killed. Out of 20,000, using over 2,000 bullets. It was raised in Parliament. The government pulled the soldiers out. But then the farmers complained again, so they sent them back. The operation finally ended in December, and the commander filed his official report. He claimed 986 EMUs killed, using 9,860 rounds of ammunition, which, if you check the math, is exactly 10 bullets per bird. Exactly. Perfectly. 10.0. Historians have gently pointed out that real life doesn't work like that. The number is widely considered, let's say, optimistic. And the commander gave a genuinely remarkable quote about the birds. He said they could face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. That's a professional soldier, publicly praising the birds that beat him. So how was the problem actually solved? Not with the army. The farmers asked for soldiers again later, and the government said no repeatedly. What worked was much more boring. Better fences to keep the birds out of the crops, and a bounty system, paying farmers for each bird. That worked far better than machine guns ever did, which is a reasonable summary of the whole thing. The problem was never that they needed more firepower. It's that you cannot machine gun your way out of an ecology problem. And here's the detail that finishes this perfectly. Look at Australia's national coat of arms. There's a kangaroo on one side, and on the other side, holding up the shield, is an emu. To be fair, it was already there before the war. But it feels earned now. So the next time something feels impossible, remember that a flightless bird once beat a machine gun by simply refusing to stand still. If you like the stuff nobody explains properly, you're in the right place. Subscribe. We do this every week.